organizations that do have the point-to-point solution set up want to move towards that multi-enterprise approach for a few different reasons. To me, it kind of all comes back to data and making sure that they have the data that they need for those insights that they're looking for, whether it's supply chain, healthcare, when it comes to hospitals and health systems and their inventory, anything across the board, it's all about that data. I'm Jeannette Brzozowski. I'm a manager on our healthcare technology consulting team at RSM. RSM is a tax audit consulting firm. Obviously, I sit in the consulting wing of the firm, and we're actually a partner of TraceLink's working through implementations for both Track and Trace and Mint. So pharma and healthcare organizations are shifting their investments towards digitalization in a few different ways. Yesterday, actually, another one of my colleagues, Joe Goldberg, spoke a little bit about this, where especially with the climate as it is today, and the uncertainty of topics around tariffs and things like that, everyone's really looking to cut costs, right, and make things more efficient. So figuring out what technologies help them in that space to ultimately cut costs, I think, is where they're shifting their investments. So looking for partners like TraceLink, for example, to make sure their solutions are most efficient and effective for whatever they're working towards, I think is where they're spending their most time and money right now. From a consulting perspective, I think organizations that do have the point-to-point solution set up want to move towards that multi-enterprise approach for a few different reasons. To me, it kind of all comes back to data and making sure that they have the data that they need for those insights that they're looking for, whether it's supply chain, healthcare, when it comes to hospitals and health systems and their inventory, anything across the board, it's all about that data. So making sure they're able to send data downstream to different systems or get those insights any way that they can. I think looking at it from a TraceLink perspective, Mint really does that for our clients. So figuring a way to pass data from one system to another, both internally in the client's ecosystem and externally downstream. Organizations are using the serialization data in a digitalized way to obviously stay compliant with all the regulations, speaking to the US, right, with DSCSA. But also I think ultimately it all comes down to patient safety. So being able to track the drug from the manufacturer to the dispenser, taking it a step further with my healthcare lens, I think it's really important to then track it from the dispenser to the patient. So having that integration with this digitalized data to track the drug throughout its whole life cycle, manufacturer all the way to the patient, and using technology to do it is really crucial. I think the most near-term opportunity for AI in the life cycle for pharmaceuticals is probably, and I've heard this use case multiple times this week, and it comes down to manual processes where pharma or healthcare organizations are, let's say, receiving emails with a PO or invoice attached, and then they have a resource spending time to go through and process those either invoices or POs and then move them forward downstream, where that can all leverage AI to do that. I know I heard this week Mint, there's an opportunity with Mint there as well, but at RSM we also utilize AI both on our team and throughout the firm, and there's multiple use cases where we could use AI with different solutions to help with these types of manual processes.